The Hebrew text in the Bible has hidden formats. By revealing these formats, I will prove the first writer's words were hidden from you. These formats look like poetry as I group them into small paragraphs. Their grouping will become known as a psalm, and together they become psalms. Let me show you our Creator's 12 commandments, listed in Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. Any father of a family or his wife who did not obey any one of these 12 commandments, our Creator demanded they bring him a sin offering. Thus, our Creator defined the word sin as not obeying any one of these 12 commandments. Next, I want to show you how I changed one word in Exodus 26, verse 26, the word bars to arches, and the words now reveal the style of the roof for our Creator's tent for meeting with Him. Let me show you the translator's words from the preface of the 1611 King James Bible. They gave 4 reasons for themselves or others to edit the Bible's words. The red arrow at the top points to their 3rd reason to edit the text. By the light and feeling we attained unto ourselves. The next red arrow down points to them giving the title, the Divine, to a clerk named Gregory. The next block of words, they point out they were happy that the first emperor of Rome established the year to the course of the sun. Behind this text means Nebuchadnezzar ordered his kingdom to follow our Creator's calendar when he stopped eating grass. Did you notice the letter S in sun is capitalized? This is to give respect to the Egyptian sun god Ra. Have you seen the Egyptian obelisk in the Vatican's front yard? The last arrow points to your reward for studying the Bible. Your reward is to have a fellowship with the saints and participation of a heavenly nature that will never fade away. There is no such thing as nature to a truthful Christian. Our Creator created everything. By their own words, they were not seeking to know our Creator or Jesus. Not everyone has the knowledge to correct every word. I have an old Bible program that has the New American Standard Bible 1977 concordance to help find a better word. Their concordance has the number of times they use that English word in a parenthesis for that Hebrew word. The translators removed his name, YHVH, to put in 2 titles, Lord and God. I replaced those titles using the letters Y and V as his name. For the Hebrew language does not have a J, O, or W. By using these 2 letters, I am closer to the truth than anyone using J, O, or W for his name. So why is there a single letter O in the Hebrew text 1,095 times? No proper English was used? The blue highlighted text is text that I am removing. The red highlighted words are little words that I'm adding. Gray italic words are words that I added. To respect and honor our Creator, all capital letters in purple are our Creator's words. This is Jesus' prophecy, for I am revealing the first writer's words to tell you the true truths about Jesus. As the text is revealed, you can taste the writer's style of wording. Their words will take your belief to trusting our Creator. You will be watching prophecy before your eyes as I edit true truths back into their psalms. Psalms 105, and I'm going to follow those instructions right there that everybody can follow to find the hidden formats. Depending on the editing, that's about how close you are to our Creator and understand what needs to be corrected truthfully. I'm going to reveal my views of all the editing that I'm going to do here, and I will also prove that there are hidden formats by the first writers. The style is just incredible. Well, we don't need this word right off the bat. Give thanks to YV. And I'm going to put the word and. Call upon his name. Make known his deeds among the peoples. Sing to him. We know that is just not true. You don't. There's no way these can be sung. The songs that they did sing, we do not have. Praise. Well, this seems like it should. This text here sounds like it should be up here. Speak of all his wonders. Although I guess I could make that different. I guess I could sit here and say, praise him and speak of his wonders. Now, wonders are usually meaning plagues. Glory is his name. Glory is his holy name. I don't know how anybody can put a definition that his name is holy. You have to be referring to our Creator if you actually can know our Creator, you could actually know whether you're right or wrong about knowing he's holy or not. Let the heart of those, let the heart of those who seek YV. This seems to be a little bit off of that. Seek YV and his strength. Seek his face continually. Now this would be, they're talking really about Jesus, who is supposed to appear to them because our Creator had promised him to come. So remember his wonders which he has done, his marvels and judgments uttered by his mouth. Seed of Abraham, I'm going to have to put the word "and" here, and his servants, the seed of Abraham, are don't mean this yet, descendants and you have to respect the word of, or not of, but from. I mean, how can you be of Jacob when it means actually from? But the text does this all the time. So they must be corrupt when they're doing this. But it's not Jacob because our Creator named him Israel. So this editor doesn't know that truth. Seed from Abraham are the descendants from Israel, his chosen ones. Now he is YV, Well, the only thing is we know who is YVR creator is YV is our creator, meaning he's the creator of the nation Israel. His judgments are in all the earth, in our form. Or this one has to be everyone. And then you have to have the word on earth. The earth doesn't have any soul. On earth. And remember his forever. I guess I'm going to cut it here. Forever the words which he commanded to 1,000 generations. Which he made, and I'm going to show you that text he made with Abraham. And I don't have the text about an oath, but he never makes oaths. He tells people. So then he confirmed, and then this writer thinks Jacob is awfully important here. It's Israel who's important. He confirmed, and I wouldn't use the word this. Israel, for a statute in Israel is an everlasting covenant. Now this should be all capital letters. This is the nation Israel. So it should be all caps. An everlasting covenant, saying, I will give you the land of Canaan. I got a new word program, and I haven't done all the words the way I'm trying to use the English letters or English words, but trying to make it like it would be written by a first person writer at that time. And they wouldn't have proper English. So, and when I note bad guys, they get a small letter. When they're good, I give them a capital letter. So when they were only I guess I got a few in minute number, very few and a stranger in it. That isn't true. They wandered about from nation, and they wandered about from nation to nation, from one kingdom to another people. He permitted no man. He permitted. That's got to get cut. I don't know how to do that yet. And he approved the king's for their sake. Do not touch my anointed ones, and do my prophets no harm. And he called for a famine on the land, and he broke the staff of bread. He sent a male this is a secular word for meaning a male, so let's correct that. Kick out the secular dictionary words or the pagan words, however you want to describe them. He sent well, we know who Joseph is. Joseph was sold, but not as a slave. He was just sold to them. So Joseph never did this, never did that. I don't know how he was bound when he was sold by his brothers. There's no revealing in the text, but you know that they wouldn't put irons on him. You're damaging your own goods if you're going to resell him. So it was probably just bound him. So I know he went into prison, but he was not bound or laid with irons until that time. His words came to pass. The words of why he tested him. That's not true. Tested him is wrong. The king sent and released him, made him a ruler for his people. And this would have been different. This would be above that. He made him Lord. He made him a Lord. This was such an importance that when the king of Egypt did that, he gave him a necklace. And if you ever seen an Egyptian necklace, it's a great big band of gold with all the pieces of gold. And he made him ride in the king's chariot, and the people were pronouncing before him who he was, for all the people to know that Joseph was now speaking for the king and had that authority out of his house. He made him a ruler over not all his possessions. It was the food, the produce of all the produce. Oops, better spell it right. Produce. They're edibles. To imprison his princes at will, that he might teach his elderly wisdom. That's all false. Israel also came to Egypt. Israel came to Egypt. Where's this? Can you imagine a writer getting it wrong 3 times in a row? Thus Jacob sojourned. Thus Israel sojourned in the land of Egypt. Boys, did they move? Ham is supposed to be the third brother of, or the middle brother of Noah. He had 3 sons. Shem, they're saying Ham, and then they're saying Japheth, or no, Japheth. But later we learned that Ham is the wrong word. It is Canaan. So, but this is Eve. He came to Egypt to be with his son, Joseph, in the land for. You know, there's so many times I've edited the word of to mean many different things. And something's going on with my air conditioner today. I've got it set down and it's still not staying on. It gets warm. I've got the lights on again just for, it also heats the room up a little bit more than normal. He caused his people to be very fruitful and made them strong. No, it wasn't that they were strong. There was a multitude of them, and then they become an adversary to the next king of Egypt over many years, maybe 200 years later, maybe even 400 years. We have no idea. They replaced the word, or they put in the text the word Pharaoh 32 times. And we know that Aaron and Moses knew the king's name at that time. So they purposely got rid of the king's name multitude of times in the text to hide the truth from you. He turned his heart to hate. Dealt with them craftily. No, well, this is. Then he sent Moses. And whom he chose. They didn't perform wondrous acts. This person doesn't know that our Creator was telling him to create, or tell him to go into the king and talk to him and announce the plagues. And they're saying that now they performed his wonderful acts, and they didn't. It was Moses who did. So that's wrong, and it's not wondrous acts, it's plagues. Among them, this has to be separated. Miracles in the land east of the land of Egypt. He sent darkness and made it dark. No, that's just wrong. he did called a darkness over all the land, but there was a lighter, um, like say a great cloud come over all the land, but there was in this one area that let through light for the Israelis. So they did not rebel against his words. Now, this would have been among the first plague, and it wasn't blood, it's the color red. Mineral, strong iron can change the water red, so it wasn't blood, literally, and caused and the fish died. Okay. Now, let me show you something here. This is the plagues in the order. Okay. So that darkness is one of the last ones. So you should know that is the list of the plagues. He turned their water red. Their land swarmed with I gotta put it this way. Land swarmed with frogs. Even in the chamber of their kings. No, there was only one king at one time, and Pharaoh's, or not Pharaoh's, but the king of Egypt's palace. He spoke. That was not right. It was Moses raised his staff to heaven. Well, he spoke in there. Well, I guess I got to use that word there, or came up here. A swarm of flies. Now, let's take a look at this list. Flies. And then it was swarming insects. So there's two of them coming here, and they've got them tied together in one, and all their territory. He gave them hail for rain and flames of fire on their land. Now, was there any of that in the plagues that I just got done showing you? Okay. There was no flames in the 10 plagues. So this is out. He struck down their vines, also their fig trees, shattered their trees in their territory. He spoke, and locusts came, and young locusts without number, and ate up all vegetation. It was not all, it's a very good, I'll explain a little bit more, but it was sprouting greens. Okay, it was sprouting, that's what the original text says. Vegetation in their land, and ate up the fruit of the ground. He also struck down all the firstborn. All born what? Weren't they the firstborn males? They forgot to put that here in their land, all the fruits of their vigor. Then he brought them out, silver and gold, and among his tribes there was not one that stumbled. Each was glad. Egyptians were glad. It's got to have an S on the end. The Egyptians were glad when they left. And that needs to be corrected. He spread a cloud and this is the cloud, like fire, illuminated the cloud for the night. Then he asked them, can they be satisfied? And with bread of heaven, he opened the rock. And this is in the wrong order. Flowed out. It ran in the desert. It flowed. This is just ran, it's the wrong word here. Anyways, there's a lot of out order as well. For he remembered his holy word. He remembered his, there will be promise with Abram his servant. He brought forth his people. He brought forth his people, his chosen ones. And this they did not do. You have to understand that the 40 years is wrong. There's so much wrong. And this text is not really in the correct order. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to explain everything, but I'm just trying to cut it up and keep thinking aloud what I'm thinking, just so you know that I'm not really trying to tell you anything that I'm not going to tell you again. So did I say that right? I'm going to tell you the things I'm going to talk about. Okay. I'm just talking it over with myself right now. He also gave them the lands of nations that they might take possession. They might take the promised land. So the promised land wasn't, it was a might. That's just, these italic words were put into the text in the 1977 NSAB, which is the text you're seeing here, so that they might, so that they keep his statutes, and observe his laws. Praise Yah. Okay. Now I put the Hebrew word in here. This would have been Lord, I believe, would have been the. I will check that a little bit later. I have a concordance to show you. But right now I've got a good idea what's going on here. Now the thing here is if I go through and correct it, it's just a repeat of what we already know. or you should know from Exodus. So give thanks to YV, and this shouldn't be that way. I've got the wrong color lettering here. And call, and I would say call out, not upon his name. And I don't know if this is our creator or not. Give thanks to YV and call. We give thanks to YV as we call out his name. Okay, that's how this is going to read. We give thanks to YV as we call out his name. To make known to make him known. Because that's why he called out his name, to give thanks, to call out his name, to make him known. And I wouldn't use these among, to make him known among this would have to be our tribes. Now, why I'm saying that is because it's a reminder to the people what they're supposed to be doing on that holy day, the first day of the week. So it has to be tribes to include everyone. Among our people, sometimes the word people means races. So to make him known among the races. Should I put races here? Let me put races here at this time. Because they did have a lot of travelers using the highway, which is a road that goes all the way through Israel as a promised land, because the rivers come in like this. So there's one road that leads to Egypt for them, and then one back up into Lebanon, and then farther, depends on what time you're talking, whether it would be Assyria or even Babylon. And I'd have to use this word then. Okay. So I'm back a little bit farther. I need to get this a little bit closer to my mouth. I'm going to have to say that this now is reading like I should put and speak or make him known among the races. For them to praise. Oh, this needs this, need this, need this, don't need this. Not sure about those two words there. For them to remind, for them to speak, for them to, yeah, I'm going to have to put speak back up here. For them to praise and not speak, but tell others, tell of, let me put, because they're plagues, I'm going to put down as every plague. Because you know that's going to be listing them here, right? So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen here as it goes down. And remember, none of these words are solid in gold. It's what it is just helps me edit what I'm thinking the verses are going to be, and then when I compile them later, I will see what actually format is happening. Right now, I can see like a 4-verse, and I can see a 3-verse here. Glory in His name. The word glory is not the correct word. I don't know what it needs to be placed there yet. Yet the heart of those who seek YV, no, let the heart of those who seek YV. It's going to have to be like this, and it's going to be like rejoice. Who seek YV, rejoice. Those who seek YV, rejoice. Those who seek YV will rejoice. Okay. Can't use, well, I don't have any other word but heart. I don't see that being used right. Seek YV and His strength. Seek His face. This would be seeking. Who is He? Who's His face? It would be Yah. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you that the Hebrew word that they had for Jesus was Yah. And I'm leaving the Hebrew English spelling here in the word. And this is talking about Jesus then. So, and it's not seek, it's look for. Look for Yah, or wait for Yah, watch for Yah. I'm going to put watch for Yah because they were told to wait for Him. There was many prophets that came through. So let me show you the best text I can about Jesus as being Yah. There's really two. There's Psalms 49, but also in Isaiah 38. This is the king from Judah. And down here he says, I will not see Yah in the land of the living. So that means he was to wait for Jesus as they were told. They used Yah as all capital letters, again, to deceive you. Let's see. Here is Psalm 149, and you can see the word Yah or the word Lord is being used this many times, capital letters. But the thing here is when we look, we have his name right here, and there it is. So again, you've been lied to, and time to wake up a little bit. They are not doing you a favor. Even though you can read only the sugar out of the text, there is too many oversalted words that I'm going to be revealing. So let me see here. Yes, if you didn't know there was 12 commandments, you do now know that. Praise Yah, not the Lord, but praise Yah. And they're going to have this new song to sing about. So this means the text has to be referred to after David, because the newest song was about entering into heaven. Now, they knew there was going to be a king that was going to bless the whole world, but they didn't know everyone on earth. But the story starts in Abraham. And I'll get that verse when I get down to Abraham later. But here what you can see is that they're going to praise, or his praise in the congregation. Whose praise? Praise Yah. Rejoice in their king. Praise his name. Where's his name? Right here. Praise Yah. Okay? Now they get to talk about their salvation, which means they can enter into heaven. Watch for Yah. And not so much that, so I can get rid of that. Here I can say, look for his face. Whoops. Look for his face. And I'm guessing because that was continually is like what they were supposed to do, continually as we wait. I'm going to add those words, as we wait for him. And then that, because that was told by them by many prophets. And this I'm going to add. Not only that I'm going to add these other ones, but this is the most important word. Without it, you don't understand the subject here of many prophets telling you that he's coming. But that's a 3 verse. Now, I guess I could make this the 4th verse in here. I'll have to wait as I go a little bit here. Remember his wonders which he had done, his marvels and his judgments uttered by his mouth. We are to remember We are to remember his plagues. That which these aren't marvels, these are miracles. So what miracles did he perform for them? Parting the Red Sea, opening the ground, and casting the people into the abyss. Moses struck the rock, and the water came out the ground. And then the parting of the Jordan River. Those were the miracles. Okay, so they weren't marvels at all. And this would be, remember his plagues. And I guess I don't need this. I was trying to fit in this word done, and I don't think I need this. Remember his miracles. Or, yeah, remember his plagues. And miracles. What the heck? Miracles and judgment for us. Although, even though it might be the forefathers here, his judgment, what judgments did he do? They won the battles, okay? So that's what this would be about. Uttered by his mouth. His miracles and judgments were spake. I don't know how many times I got to remember that that is not a upper. Or spake from his mouth. Oops. From his mouth. Now that's a 3-verse. If I use that, these words here that are done here, down here, but maybe it is a 3-verse. I'm going to put this back here like this. And I'm going to take these right here. I've done enough to where I'm trying to find out now what format should I put this text in, because Cleaning it up does help. Mm. Okay, maybe make it a little bit smaller here so I can see more of what's going on here. We give thanks to YV as we call out his name. We kept on among the races. For them to praise and tell of every. Going to change those back to all, I guess. All of. All of his plagues. This is not really needed. In fact, I'm not sure if this is really needed. Among the races, for we are to remember. So if I add the word for, we are to remember, I'm adding the word for. Now, this text, if I stack it together, will help me find a 4 verse here. What if I put those who seek YV are, are to watch for Yah. And then this I don't need. And then that way I've got 4 verse. And then this is out. So that's how I would try to keep 4 verses going here. So let me go up here. Wow, this is a long one. And that's what I did there to get that to 4. And then this, I'm saying, is out. Okay. Now you've seen the 4 verse grouping here that I've got. Yeah. The 4 verse grouping. This becomes like a comma and a period. A comma and a period. Whoops. But this is reading like this verse connects to this one, and this needs to go later somewhere else in the text. Okay, so I'll probably have to say something like, set it up as a reminder and say move to, and then I'll do that moving later. Which now brings me back up to the first text here. And actually I'm gonna put like a divider here just so I know that the next time I don't need to grab this text to clean it up. And I'm going to move this word here. And I usually do that from like that, and then assign it as yellow. Then it just means I move the text from here, from Abraham's seed. So I need this. From Abraham's seed are the descendants from Israel. Is chosen. I'm going to have to add this word as well. Are his chosen ones. Now, I don't know if I need a verse above here or down here. This seems to be wanting to connect like this. So if I have that, I have to have like a verse missing here. Because I don't see anything real quickly that's going to tie it together or could be used for a verse here. All right. Sorry about that. I found these pretty good to stop me yawning. I must have ate too much. Before I started streaming today. And sitting here, my stomach has taken over my body. Getting the job done. Okay. Now, if I'm looking at, could I use that because his judgments are for everyone. Oh man, what's going on? Okay. Because this, not really tying to this. He remembered his not count, but his promise. Now, was it a promise? Because what he had done, when Abraham told him or asked him about how will he know that his descendants will have the land? Then he told them that he will, how does he put it? I can't remember it off there. Something about send them away and then bring them back as his nation. So I guess that isn't a promise, it's his prophecy. His prophecy. He remembered his prophecy. If I black out, it's because it's really raining here. And I know they worked on the power lines, but I'm not sure if it's going to blink and go out. I don't have any battery backup for myself here. But this here is separate, I think. Forever the words which he commanded are to are for 1,000 generations. Forever are his words. And I just got done telling you what his words were. Forever are his words. Okay, now I better bring up his promise to Abraham. Now, this is when Abram became Abraham, and he's going to start establishing his promises. Okay, and the promises are different, yet when you understand all of them together, it takes, actually, if you understand all his prophecies, you understand the real story of why you will enter into heaven. Well, some of you will. Here he's telling, though, but he will make nations from you, not of you, and kings shall come forth from you. Now, this is the only place that has the word kings, but it could have been judges at that time because Moses was a judge, and then there was going to be judges for a few years. Now, in the text that I'm going to show you in this psalm is the story that at Samuel's time, that the people were not willing to follow Samuel or the judges' commands anymore for them. And they wanted to be like the other kingdoms and have a king that would lead them in battle. And our Creator said, no, I don't want you to have a king. But then he said, okay. And then he appointed Saul as the first king. So because I know the stories real well, I would say this is a judge. But the object is that if I just keep saying kings, you'll understand Jesus as your king. And in him, or in him, who is him, it has to be this judge or king. All the nations of earth will be blessed. And then this, again, is restated down here, only from your seed, all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. Now, this should be the word races on earth shall be blessed. Now, here the word blessed is being right because it's later that he tells them that they're going to have a kingdom in heaven, or he's going to make the son from David, a king, and he's going to have a kingdom forever in heaven. So it all starts from here about Abraham, okay? So when it's talking about forever his words, this was to bless everyone, okay? So it's not really 1,000 generations. It's which he commanded for everyone on earth. But I would have to be changing so much of this text that I would have to say this is out. Forever are his words. And it's not really the word which. I don't even know if Strong's thought this was a strong enough word to add to the text. Wow, how come? Okay, it's there. I'm working on this word. Yeah, see how it's over here as a dot? So Strong didn't feel it was the right word, and I'm not seeing it as the right word. Because I should get rid of it. Forever are his words. See, this is what that he made with Abraham. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about is those words. I'm trying to put it here. Forever are his words. He told, because he told them is the right word, not that he made with Abraham. He told Abraham, forever are his words. Yeah, I can get rid of this text and actually put it up here and then go like that. Forever are his words, he told Abraham. So now I have just a comma and a period here. Because see here, it's the what I was saying that he just told Abraham as a blessing for everyone on earth, and it's really out of order here. But now you have to understand that he told Abraham when he talked to Sarah. No, when he told Abraham, that's the story. When he told Abraham he's going to have a son, and he's going to. Let me see. How is that? Let me see something. Because it's important that you understand the text. Now, this is going to take a while for this to open up. So let me try to find this. Okay, here it is. Abram appeared to Abram. Yeah, here is the story. I will bless yours the most. And he replies, I have no son. And then he tells him, from you will have a son, and from his seed, descendants, and they will be my kingdom, and give him to the land. This is where he's, how will I know that they will possess this land? And he says they will be estranged in the land and enslaved and oppressed for years. And then he'll judge that kingdom, and after they'll come out as his kingdom. Okay, now that's the promise that I was just telling you about. About here. And then in his words, he didn't give Isaac an oath that I know of. Oath is debt. Oh. So in his words to Isaac, now see, the statute is that I think that's being talked about here is circumcision. And this is, yes, a forever statute, a circumcision. So, but I don't think those words are correct here. And his words to Isaac, he established he established with Israel. So it's got to be the word Israel's on the end. Israel's, okay. Now that's the promise, like I just showed you, how they're going to be there in because now this text has to go above here. I'm not seeing how this is. Is this verse the one that's missing here? And his chosen ones? Where he remembered his prophecy? And it's these that are, and like I know this in the story that I just showed you. here. Okay, he hasn't changed his name yet. So these words first are going to come first. And then these are the ones, the Father, make a Lord come from you. I used it as Lord come from you. This is our Creator's hidden formats, by the way. And they are very specific. So what you're seeing here, the bold words are the strong words only. And so this would be like a verse would be a statement here as a comma, and then these would be next. So everything you're seeing here has 3 of these in a verse. I've just stacked, I had one verse, then this verse, then another single word and 2 more Hebrew words. And what I've done was when I put them together as a group, now I've put them together again as a larger paragraph. And this is the easiest way to read the text. And then here, yes, I told you it was going to be about circumcision as well. So the thing here is establish through your descendants, and it's got to be about circumcision here. And it's a statute. Statute for I would say for Abraham's, not Israel. It was a promise, it was a statute that was for Abraham's. So that's the correct word. That's a statute as an everlasting as a statute for Abraham's, as an everlasting promise. Because he said if they didn't keep the circumcision, they were to be cast off. Okay, so those words have to be there then. But that means that this can't connect. This has got to go someplace else. I hate it when they make it a puzzle. They took words and they put them in the order that they wanted them to be put, and not so much that they're telling you the truth. I'm trying to put these words back together and show you that the first writer would have wrote how the first writer would have wrote these. And it's going to take a while to do this one, but it can be done. And you're hearing my thinking is that this verse here needs to go up here. Through Abraham's seed are the sons from Israel, are his chosen ones. But where is the promise? When he changes his name from Abram to Abraham, that because like I said, I'm using 3 different verses. This one's when he's changing his name. That's in 17:6. Then I got to go to 18:8. And I'm trying to think of this story. Where's that at? And then 22:18. Okay, this is when he was going to kill Isaac. So this is after. This has to be the first part of that story that I was telling you about. I'm just trying to get it in my mind correctly. This is when he's talking about the promise forever shall come out as my kingdom. Okay. Because the text is never in order in a lot of these stories. And then what I did was I had to take them and piece them together to get the correct story. And the stories were telling me how to correct them or how to put them in order. But when I'm seeing only a verse or two meaning a whole page or, a conversation, for he remembered his prophecy. And then this verse, then this verse, then this verse. So this needs to be moved here. So let me start with that. Okay, this I'm going to say move up, and I'm just going to take this, copy it, make it 8 point, then move it here, moved here. And I gotta put this, take one of them out. And to make it easier, because I'm going to be moving a lot of them, I'll try to make them by color. From Abraham's seed are the descendants from Israel. They were his chosen one, for he remembered his prophecy. Oops. For you remember his prophecy. Period. His forever are his words. Actually, these go with this verse. His judgments for us are for everyone on earth. Oops. I need that to tie this together. Livy is our creator. Now this means that they made the nation. And his judgments are for everyone on earth. That was the blessing. Forever are his words, he told to Abraham. Yes. So when I remove that, that'll go together. And then this verse goes above this verse. And I'm not even sure if that's going to be the correct order when I'm done, but let me see here. Can I hit that key and then up? If I leave it green, that's okay. Copy that. I put this as 8 point. And then this here, because this, so I'm not confusing myself here when I'm reading this. That is going to be the 4-verse group. And then that was moved up, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Instead. Well, see, this group might be above here. But I might have to, I'll have to move that later. So what I want to do is I want to just take this and clean it up, because just to show you how these are looking, I mean, it's hard enough for me to keep it in my head, so I'm pretty sure you're confused a little bit. And this, and this is out. From Abraham's seed are the descendants from Israel. Are the descendants from Israel, his chosen ones. For he remembered his prophecy. Remember his words he told. Yeah, okay, maybe that is the correct order. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the correct order. Yeah, because this is now, you got to remember the statute of all these descendants have to have this circumcision for the statute. Is an if, not as a. It is an everlasting promise. In his words to Isaac, he established His words to Isaac, he established with Israelis, or Israel's. If you think you're confused, it'll read correctly when I'm done. I know most people don't know the actual stories. Because see, this plague here, now this is almost like the beginning of this. Okay, well, wait a second. We might have two beginnings here. But I can see that this is starting to get better as what's supposed to be the truth being said here. And I showed you how easy or how bad the text was on the plagues. So I will bring that up because it looks like that's where the text is now heading. Okay. He said to him, this would be he didn't he prophesied about the land. Okay, so it has to be he prophesied. He prophesied to Abraham. When he changed his name. I'll give you the land for Canaan. Yeah, this is our Creator's words. I'll give you the land for Canaan. So it's got to be apostrophe S here. To be that portion divided be divided as their inheritance. And I hope some of you actually know a lot of these stories. So now this next text is wrong. So I'm missing a verse here. So this would be a comma. This would be a period. This would be a comma. This is a period. That is what I'm looking for. Okay, now here comes the text that's really way out of order. Okay, when they were Now the thing here is you got to understand that when they came out of Egypt, how many of them were there? And because there's 12 sons, Joseph's two sons. But anyways, how large were they when they were put into captivity and then are made to lay brick or make bricks that then they were to become his nation? Now this is where you got to kind of put in your head, how many years does it take before you have 1,000 people or 10,000 people or 20,000, and then to divide it by 12, and you got to have male and females and children in there. And then you have to understand that only those from 25 to 50 our Creator said that you can make warriors out of them and make an army to battle. But when they went to fight against Amaleks, they couldn't defeat them. And that most likely was that they didn't have the weapons that Amaleks had. Remember, they came out of Egypt and they weren't given a lot of weapons. I mean, they didn't have what would I say, long swords. I can see them putting their utensils on the ends of sticks and tying them and using them as spears at that time. And then when whoever, after the battle, they probably went and collected what they could from the dead. And then they went over to underneath Edom to come over into the east of the Jordan River. And then they fought Moabs and then Ammons. So they most likely got more of their weapons from them because they were able to defeat them a little bit more, but they couldn't defeat Amalek. So I'm trying to figure out because you have to have weapons to be able to battle, and maybe it was because Amalek had arrows, okay, that they were using against them, because you can't defend people that have arrows and you don't. So, but when it says in a number, they still have to be 400,000 strong or more, maybe even 500,000, 700,000. I've tried to calculate that number, and I'm just trying to present you with all the thoughts that I was thinking at that time, to get to their army, to have 25-year-olds to 50 years olds, that they couldn't beat Amaleks, and giving them a reason why they couldn't, and yet they could go into beat Ammons and Moab and completely wipe them out. So they were... Well, maybe this is not what I was thinking. Maybe it was when they went to Egypt, they were only a few, and that would have been 66. That number is pretty descriptive of when you understand the ages that were very possible of the 12 sons, counting their wives. Israel and only one wife, his other wife died. Rachel died, so it was Leah that went into Egypt. So now that um, Israel's when Israel I'm going to have to put Israel as Israel family. Israel's family. Now that I'm completely adding. Were were a few in number. Okay, that's trying to make sense out of text that they screwed up 2,700 years ago, and I'm trying to figure it out. I'll get there. I get there. I know the book. I know the stories. It's just which words are in these when I can think of 2 or 3 different stories. What's going on? They wandered about from nation to nation. This They didn't wander about from nation to nation. It was from kingdom to kingdom. Now, kingdoms were only like 40 miles wide here, so don't think it's like the land of Egypt. Kingdom. Nation, the word nation I have and I use only for Israelis because they each had their own like state, and they were made up of many states like the United States. But kingdoms, they didn't operate the same way as a nation does. So to differentiate them, I use the word kingdom, like Egypt, Babylon, whatever, Chaldeans, Amons, peoples like that had a strong ruler over a land that had their own army. So from kingdom to kingdom, and they didn't wander about, they were being led. And I know that our Creator said that they were strangers in the land of Egypt, and always remember that. And as strangers in other lands, okay, as strangers as they and as strangers they wandered from kingdom to kingdom. Okay, now that's a good group. That describes. Whoops, no, that can't be. This is separate from that. And this is just not really good. See, as they were strangers, they wandered from one nation to another, or one king to another kingdom. But he permitted none. I'd have to use the word yet here. Let me put the word yet. He permitted. Yet. He whoops, nope, wrong word. Bam. He let no king oppress them. Yeah, this is going to tie with this. So I can get like that. This is going to be a foreverse. He let no king oppress him. As they strangers, they wander from kingdom to kingdom. Yet he let no king oppress them. And rebuked would not accept them. Rebuked kings for their sake. Their sake. Okay, now that works. That works. Tough, but it's there. It's there. Now, this I know has to be what these words are saying. That's them going into Egypt. Now that's coming out. And here they're out there. Do not touch my anointed ones and do my prophets no harm. They weren't prophets at that time. And he called for a famine upon the land, and he broke bread. Now that is not true. That happened later. This is when they were falling away from our Creator, that famine. Because the thing here is you have to understand that when he made his tent for meeting with him, he had them make a golden bowl. I don't know if it was one or two, but they were to put wheat seeds in that. And that was always supposed to be present before him in his meeting room, set on the table next to the oil that was used to light the 7 lamps on this lampstand. That was there because there was a promise that if they obeyed him, they would never have a famine. So when it says he called for a famine upon our land and he broke the bread or stopped, this food, that was because they had to fall away from him. And I know none of this is in the text down below, okay? A lot of this is still talking about what happened in Egypt. So there is no text that it starts talking about after the time of David, okay, or Solomon. Okay, so that I can't. I'm not going to make anything out of it. I can't group it with any of the other text, to be truthful. Now here, we're going to go from here to here, or this is going to go below this text here. He sent before them Joseph's, and this would have to be whom. This has to be whom. Now I'm going to make it mine. Whom he sent before them, Joseph whom they sold. So that now makes sense there. They afflicted his feet with fetters until the time that his words came to pass. Now, Joseph was sold to an Egyptian captain, okay, somebody, or even maybe like a commander for the king of Egypt. And then Joseph, our Creator made everything that he was working with pretty much showing off that Joseph had the ability to everything he touched became better. So then he put him in charge of his whole land. And then his wife desired to marry with him. Joseph said no. He came home. His wife lied to him, and he tossed Joseph into the jail. Now it was the you have to understand there's different type of jails. In this jail that he was in was for the prisoners that were against the king only. That way they could be tortured, they had whatever, but the thing here is example, when he was there, the king of Egypt had punished his baker and his wine taster. And then Joseph became their servant as to give them their food and stuff like that, where the captain over, or the head jailer, kind of made friends with Joseph, and then Joseph become this like his assistant, and that's how he meets the baker and the wine taster. And so when it says that they were afflicted his feet with fritters, this is the story that whom he was sold, but all of a sudden there's going to be lots of verses missing to get to that story that he met these two, and they both had a dream, and he told them of the dream. So this is then his words came to pass. Okay, he told them his dreams. So this is what his words came to pass. Because he understood, or he interpreted the dreams, okay, correctly. So this would have to be like by the words And this would have to be our Creator that said these words to him. And we don't have that text that says that. It's like he knew, but here this is saying that our Creator told him the words, and then he told him words from Wyvie, okay? And then that's how these words came to pass, in other words, is what they're saying. So if I do like that, I've got that is words. What do you call that when you tell them about it? Revealer of dreams, dream meanings. His words of their, I'm going to say vision, because these were given by our Creator on purpose. And I guess I should do this. This. His words of their vision. Until the time his words of his vision, of their visions, came to pass. By the words from Wyvie, okay. They know that Wyvie made this happen, okay. So now I've got that much said as to be truthful. So what happened next here? Because there's so much that's missing, but this was not true. We have no story of that, but it was that he was sold, and then I told you about the story, and now he's in there until the time his words of their visions came to pass by the words from Wyvie. Then their king sent for him, comma, and after his dream he released him. So this has got to be, I don't know how it's going to be done in such a short verse. And then I'd have more verses, I guess. And then this would be like this, that this here is the next paragraph that would connect. Then their king sent for him, and he revealed the king's. These were the years of famine, by the way, in case because the story is going to come up of why is he here as this. So I'm pretty much going to be able to guess the words here. And released him as released him as a, I'm going to say, I'm remembering now the words, and it's Lord, Lord over his produce. So I know I just don't know what the word, I'm pretty sure that's what I used in our creator's hidden formats. He released him as a Lord. As a Lord. This tells me oops, what? Say Lord for his people, but actually it's for his kingdom. So as a Lord in his kingdom. Maybe I'm trying to force this to be what I want it to be, but it is over his kingdom, so okay, now I'm thinking that's how that verse is going to end. And then this is tied to that. So that's pretty good. Oh, they use the word Lord. Okay. Made him a leader. Can't use the word Lord twice. Made him a leader in his kingdom. Where's the word for? For he made him a Lord. Whoops. Gonna need that. Made him a leader in his kingdom. For he made him a Lord. But then I got a leader. I gotta use people there for, so this has got to be for, this has got to go back here. This has got to be his people. Now his kingdom has to go here. Kingdom is the correct word. He made him a Lord. In And what the hell am I doing that I'm doing that? Must be hitting the shift key, alt shift key, doing that. Made him in his kingdom. I think he became his second, because he gave him his signet ring and he gave him necklace, so it's got to be his second. Well, and this has just to be word second. Okay. Like the prince. Okay. But not as his prince. Over. If I don't need to use the word all because it's his produce. And this would, because the king owns everything. So I'm thinking that's how that verse is going to go. Now the thing here is I thought I put a dividing. Oh, there I did. Okay. I've done so much editing. I want to take this text. I'm going to cut this here, put a space here to say, you got to come back here and start doing more editing. But I'm going to take this. That was up to this last one. Copy it. Then bring this all the way down to the bottom. And do another cleanup of what I'm thinking. That's nice when it cleans up a lot of that for me. Oh, yeah, there's a space, 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 space. Okay. Now this I know that might be able to use because we're talking about having to come into Israel or into Egypt. Like I said, there was few in number would have been 66. So that's, and when you come out hundreds of thousands, yeah, that's a few. When you relate it to that number, I know sometimes people, when they think few, might be 3, 4. As strangers they wandered from kingdom to kingdom, yet he let no king oppress them, and rebuke kings for their sake. He sent before them Joseph, whom was sold, and then until the time his words of his vision came to pass by the words from Wyvie, then the king sent for him and released him and made him a leader for his people. I'm going to get rid of the S. For he made him a lord in his kingdom as his second to be over whoops, not that. Okay. So that cleaned up pretty good. And we're starting to get the actual story that I'm going to be able to piece together. Now this, I'm going to start from here now. Okay, Israel came to Egypt. Thus, Israel sojourned to the land of Egypt. Okay, so let me go up here where this text is at. And if I'm going to move that down, this would be a good place to be putting it. So let me separate this and say, does this text go here? Israel's family were few in number. As they came to Egypt. As they came to Egypt. Yeah, I'm going to put that. Israel's family were few in number as they came to Egypt, comma. I'm going to get rid of this verse because I can use this verse. They came into Egypt. I guess I'm going to use this word, sojourn. No, I'm not going to use that word. To live in this had to be their land. Their land. And that's a period. Kind of cool. It's getting there. So this means I had to what? Move. I'm going to have to say moved down here. Now I'm going to take this. Well, I should assign it a color. That should be easy enough to find. Move down. Move 2 verses down. Okay. Now this can all be 8 point. Okay, that helps people to be able to. When I make these, I'm hoping that I make a PDF so you can see that. And I know that if people study it 100 years from now, that they will be able to understand the text and where I'm going with it. Okay, because now they come there, now they're gonna multiply. So He caused his, I'm going to put family here. His family to very fruitful. I'm pretty sure that, oh, I've got low power here. So I got to plug this in. This is my cheat sheet to go back and forth to the, or control my scenes in OBS. So can't run out of power there. Not now. I'm too deep into this, but power didn't flick off yet. Everything's good. So it's still rumbling in the background, but this rain has stopped here. Just for an update on what's going on here in 2023, August of 2023. And he caused his family to be very, yeah, I was going to look at how this is going to be multiplied. So I first got to get down here to 20, very fruitful. See, now this is very, and okay, it's not used as two words. So this one, I'm just looking for words. I think the word greatly, multiply, would be a good way to say that first word. To greatly. Increase. Cause his family to greatly, I'm going to put multiply and then just make it my word because I multiply. This is going to be, I'm going to make it my word. So, although it is in the shadow of, I'm going to say, I'm just changing it. It's in the shadow of this word, what it means. So, and made them greatly multiplied and made them not stronger, but made them what? Not stronger. Made them numerous. Because when the king announced that he was going to make them slaves, he told them they were more numerous than they were, and if they sided with their enemy when they came into the land, that they'd have a problem if they sided with the enemy. So I made them numerous is a very good word that I can use here. And just say, hey, they used it, I can use it. Numerous. numerous. Greatly multiply and made them numerous. And this is what's unique about Strong. I find it that he had to use this word. Even though it's a small 4-lettered word, very rarely does he do that. But when he feels it needs to be importantly said, he uses that Hebrew word. So Strong, even though he was a bad guy, our creator was making sure that he put in the words later that when I get a hold of the text, I can say, hey, that's cool. I can use that word as the second major word in the text. Because we've got to remember our creator's hidden formats, I only use these words and then strung the words together